What is going on, everybody? My name is Guthrie. I am 25 years old. I run a video production company called Made It Count, and this is my first YouTube video. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm going to talk today about my journey and how I got to where I am today. I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of major sports teams: the Boston Celtics, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Milwaukee Bucks, Dallas Cowboys, Chicago Cubs, New England Patriots. I've had a lot of really awesome opportunities that I'm super grateful for. But I put in a lot of hard work to get to where I'm at today, and that's kind of why I wanted to start up this channel. I wanted to talk about my journey, how I've gotten here, and just everything I've learned along the way, some of the things I've done wrong, some of the things I've done right. I'm going to get into personal finance, I'm going to get into building client relationships, I'm going to get into outreach, scaling, just everything I've learned about building a company. And I am only 25 years old, I still have a ton to learn. But that's another reason I'm kind of making this channel. You know, I want to document my progress, my growth, and I think this will be just really cool to look back on one day. So I'm going to talk to you guys about my story. I started making videos when I was maybe 17 years old, and I made sports videos. I made NBA videos. I loved watching basketball, and I was a big Knicks fan. And I remember the first big video I ever made was a Carmelo Anthony tribute video when he got traded to the Thunder. I posted that on YouTube, and I remember it did pretty well. Like, it got a few thousand views, and that kind of really just like kickstarted my love for making videos. So yeah, I started posting a bunch of YouTube videos. I started posting videos on Instagram, making highlight reels and things of that nature, and I loved it. Like, I spent all my free time doing that. I think I started when I was a senior in high school, and I continued doing that, like just spending all my free time making videos when I was a freshman in college. I remember I would just grind during the week with getting all my schoolwork done, so I would have my weekends completely free. And instead of like going out and being social on the weekends, I would just stay in my dorm and make NBA videos, which is pretty sad to say, but I just loved it that much. Like, I was so passionate about it. I couldn't wait for the weekends to roll around because I couldn't wait to make a new video. And I pretty much spent like the majority of my freshman year doing that, just on the weekends, just grinding videos, and I would post them on Instagram and YouTube, and like, I didn't really have a huge following. I had like a little following, but it was like just the coolest thing to me to see people interact with my videos. And I wasn't making any money off of this. I was just simply doing it because I loved it. And I continued to do that in the summertime. And I remember in the summer there was a job opening for my school, and I went to the University of Connecticut. And if any of you guys are familiar with college basketball, or just basketball in general, you know UConn is a pretty big name in the basketball world. They won back-to-back national championships in recent history. They produced a lot of NBA players. Their women's team is historic, like known around the world. And so I applied for the position. I got an interview and I got the job. And that was towards the end of the summer and going into my sophomore year. And literally the same day, or maybe like a day or two after I had that interview, I got reached out to by Bleacher Report to make videos for them. And that was awesome. Like, that, I went from like having no clients at all, making no money off this, to getting a job and having my first freelance client, which was Bleacher Report. And that was just, it was a dream come true to me. Like, I've been wanting to work for Bleacher Report for as soon as I started making videos. Like, Bleacher Report was like the name I wanted to work for. So that was super cool. And then to work for, you know, a program like UConn, it was a blessing. And I remember when I made my first video for Bleacher Report, it got like 600,000 views, maybe even more, on their social accounts. And everybody was like just congratulating me. Everyone thought it was the coolest thing, and it was just a really great feeling. And this taught me like the first lesson of business and how harsh the business world can be. Because after making 2 videos for Bleacher Report, they didn't reach out to me again. Yeah, so that sucked. But it just kind of motivated me to like make better videos. I think that was like something that's really important, especially in business, is like things aren't going to go your way all the time. And you can't let it discourage you. You kind of have to use it as fuel. And I did. I just, you know, I thought to myself, maybe my videos aren't good enough, and I just got to get better. And so I just kept working really hard. And that was just a really awesome opportunity working for UConn. I was surrounded by great people. I got hands-on experience learning how to film. I had never really like shot with a real camera before, so that was a great opportunity, and I learned a lot from that. And I think one piece of advice I have for anyone who's trying to make it in this industry is, especially if you're going to school for something like this, find any way you can get hands-on experience. There's only so much you can learn through a textbook, and I don't want to discourage people from going to school, but I didn't really learn a whole lot in my classes. Everything I learned was from my job. I compare editing to almost learning a language. It's not something you could just pick up immediately. It takes a lot of time and effort and just practice. It takes practice and practice and practice. And I was pretty much going into UConn working at the video department every single day. Like, anytime I had free time, I would go there, to the point where I think they were getting pretty annoyed with me, and they probably thought I was a loser who had no social life. And they were kind of right, but I just loved it so much, and I just wanted to learn as much as I possibly could. And this really helped expedite my growth. Like, I was just doing it every single day, and I was learning so quickly. I was making a new video like almost every day, sometimes 2 videos a day. And again, I think anyone starting out in this journey, like, that's just the biggest thing, is just being as active as you can, just making as many videos as you can, shooting as many videos as you can, just doing as much as you possibly can to get experience. And my number one goal ever since starting this journey was to work with an NBA team. And I remember my junior year of college, there was a video production role that opened up with the Miami Heat. and I applied to it. Like I thought there was no shot I would ever get it, but I just applied to see what would happen. And a few weeks went by, and then I got a call from Miami. I didn't pick it up. It went to voicemail. They left me a voicemail, and they told me it was the Miami Heat calling and asking for if I had time for an interview. And I just remember getting that phone call, and I couldn't believe it. Like just the thought of ever working for an NBA team was so surreal to me, and to get that phone call and for them to be interested in me for this position was just insane. And I remember I was so nervous before the interview, and when I got on the call, the guy could immediately tell that I was nervous, and he was like, "Relax, we're just having a conversation." And he told me during that call that 700 people applied for that job, and I was one of the candidates that really stood out, and they really wanted me. And unfortunately, I was still in school, and it was a full-time role, and they wanted me to move to Miami, and my parents wouldn't let me drop out of college, so I couldn't accept it. But like after that moment, I knew I had something here. Like I knew this could be a career for me. If 700 people are applying, and I was like standing out, and from that moment, I didn't look back. I just went all in on this, and I started cold emailing a bunch of companies, NBA teams, universities, different agencies, and just doing whatever I could to build up my clientele. And then I remember I got an opportunity to work for Duke basketball. I got an opportunity to work for Jordan Brand. I got an opportunity to work for the Brooklyn Nets. And I was just getting all these really cool opportunities. It was just the best feeling ever, and I became addicted to like just the chase of it all. And then at the same time, I was continuing to work with UConn, and they gave me a larger role. I was traveling around the country with the team, filming their games, making content for them. It was just like, it was a dream come true. I was having so much fun. And then once college ended, I was left with one of like the harder decisions of my life up to that point. And UConn offered me a job, and I loved it there. It was such a fun environment to work in. But I really wanted to start my own company. I had all these clients on the side I was working with, and I really wanted to give it a shot. And then that lasted about a month into freelancing full-time after college. I had a company reach out to me called The Famous Group, and The Famous Group is an agency that has worked with some of the biggest names in sports, and it was just an opportunity I couldn't pass up. And they first asked me to come on for a project. I did an edit for them, they really liked it, and then they asked if I'd be willing to work for them for 3 months on a freelance basis. They would pay me my day rate every day for 3 months, and that just like blew my mind. I mean, and up to this point, like money wasn't really a concern for me. All I cared about was if I can make a little bit of money doing what I love, that's enough for me. And after those 3 months were up, they offered me a job, and I accepted it. And so right out of college, I had a good job with a major agency, and I got some really, really cool opportunities. I got to work with the Milwaukee Bucks making their intro videos. I made 3 different intro videos my first like 3 months being there. And I remember like one of the goals I also had was to work for an NBA team, but also to make an intro video for an NBA team. And just to see my video playing in an NBA arena was, again, like it was just a dream come true. Like I just couldn't believe it. And then I did an intro video for the Chicago Cubs. I did one for the Baltimore Ravens. The one I did for the Baltimore Ravens won an Emmy. I was just getting incredible experiences, and I was super grateful for that whole time I had there. Everyone I worked with was super cool. They were really, really nice. I loved the people I worked with. I had such great mentors, which made the decision to quit the job after about almost 2 years of working with them so hard. I mean, that was like one of the hardest things I've ever done before in my life, because I felt like I was letting those people down. Like they gave me such an incredible opportunity. They took a chance on me. I was 21 years old when I came into the company. I think I was like 22 or 23 when I quit. It was just really hard. I felt really bad, but I think they all respected my decision and reasoning for why I decided to do it. And my reasoning, I always had the goal of trying to start my own company. And I knew I was getting these great experiences. I was proving myself in the real world. And I thought to myself, when I'm in my young 20s, now's the time to take risks. And it was a really big risk. I was making good money at this company. I had just bought an apartment, so I had a mortgage to pay. I had bills to pay now. And I was working with my freelance clients on the side while working this job. So I continued to keep those relationships up and continue to keep that work up. But I wasn't making a ton of money doing the freelance. So it was definitely a big, big risk. I was pretty much building from the ground up. And it was scary, but I think the moment I took that jump, like everything in my life changed. Like, I think the most dangerous thing you can do in life is play it safe. It's really important to take risks. It's really important to step outside your comfort zone. And the time to do it is when you're in your 20s, in my opinion. And, I knew I was a really hard worker. I'm really passionate about this. And if it didn't work out, it's not going to be from a lack of trying. And I could live with those results, but I couldn't live with not taking that chance. So I quit my job. I went full-time on my own. And it was a little rough first. It was a little slow. But one thing I'm, really proud of is the relationships I built in this business. And it's not like something I'm, doing, I'm just trying to be nice to these people because I want them to continue to work for me. I generally get along with these people. I felt like I had a family at the Famous Group, and they continued to hire me back even after I quit. We continued to work together, and I still work with them to this day all the time. And again, I really have built a strong relationship with a lot of these people. I think that's a key for business. When you're friends with the people you work with, they're gonna look out for you, and vice versa. I'm gonna go above and beyond for them. And they gave me a lot of work out of the bat once I went full time on my own, and it allowed for that transition to be smoother. And again, I just like went really hard on the cold emailing and reaching out to people, and just trying to build my name up. I started getting a lot of work with the Portland Trailblazers. I did a lot of work for Duke. I did a lot of work for UConn. Again, that was another situation where I just love the people I work with at UConn, and they felt the same way about me and continued to bring me back for projects. I started working with Vanderbilt University. I continued to work with Duke University. And one by one, I just continued to get different companies, agencies, and sports teams to reach out to me to do work for them. And I think a lot of it was word of mouth, just people recommending me. And by the end of my first year, I had a really, really successful year. And now I'm wrapping up my second year, and I feel like I almost doubled all my progress that I did my first year. And again, like, it hasn't been all good. Like, there's a lot of really hard things I've gone through during this time, and I'm going to go more into detail about that in another video. But I think that's just how anything is in life. Success is not an upward climb. It's filled with a lot of ups and downs, and you learn from the downs as much as you learn from the ups. But I'm just, like, super grateful for the position I'm in today. If you told me when I was a senior in high school the clients I'd be working with today and the position I'd be in today, I really wouldn't believe you. Like, I think a lot of time I get desensitized to it all. But I think it's important to just take the time to appreciate like what you've done and almost romanticize your life a little bit in that sense. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm starting up this channel, is because I want to be able to look back at what I've done and take a moment to appreciate it, and also document, hopefully my continued success throughout the years. And yeah, so this video is just like a little bit of an introduction to myself. I'm going to go into detail about a lot of different things like discussed before, and I'm really excited for this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little story time, and I'm sure this video is not going to get that many views, but maybe one day it will. And I'm just like really looking forward to connecting with other people who are coming up in this industry, who have made it in this industry, and just forming those conversations, giving advice and feedback to others who are, like I said, going through this journey. And I think that's one of the most important parts about this industry is just having community. Like, you can only get so far by yourself. You need to have those relationships and those people you can like learn from. And I've learned so much through YouTube and through other creators, and hopefully like I can serve that type of impact on some others who are coming up in this industry. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Looking forward to making more. Make sure you subscribe and like and all that good stuff, and I will see you guys in the next one.